Welcome to yet another session with Inspo Vibes with SK. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking my channel and all your wonderful comments and shares. And that's what inspires me and helps me to come back every Wednesday with yet another story. So today's story is about a young boy I recruited called Anshu. Obviously, the name has been changed. So before I share his story, let me ask you, how many times have you been to a party full of people, loud music, the works, a happening party, and still felt so alone? How many times have you gone out with friends and still felt as if you don't really have a friend? How many times you've picked up the phone at midnight, maybe, wanting to talk to someone, and you have more than 1,000 contacts on your phone, and yet you can't bring yourself to dial a single person's number whom you can speak to at that moment and not judge you, and you feel you can share? I think most of us would have experienced these at least once. So that's what is my subject for today's story, and that is loneliness. Now, my friends, before we start with the story, let me just clarify that loneliness is not the same as solitude. Solitude is choosing to be in your own company, doing something that will bring joy and comfort and peace and contentment within you. Whereas loneliness is very distressing, it's very saddening, it's a very negative feeling, and nobody would voluntarily want to be lonely. So let's talk about this boy Anshu. I still remember when I interviewed him, I selected him over the others, although he had very little experience. His English was not so fluent because he came from a small town, but I loved his energy, I loved his passion for life, and I loved the spark that he had to learn, and most importantly, that desire he had to blend in. He wanted to be a part of the team and he wanted to do something. And that's why I said, okay, this is it. He's the one who's going to take this position. But you know, I saw him 6 months later and I was so taken aback. This Anshu was not the Anshu that I had seen in the interview room. This Anshu was so quiet, so withdrawn, his eyes were so listless, he always looked so preoccupied. Where was that fire and that passion? Where was that Anshu? Somewhere there was something wrong. I decided not to waste too much time and told him that let's have tea together this evening and I'd like to talk to you. So we went to the cafeteria, took our cups of tea and sat down. Initially, when I asked him if everything was well, he just kept saying, yeah, cool, all is well, all is fine. Slowly, I began to realize that in his efforts to live up to the social perfectionism, social expectations of his peer group and the newfound friends in this cosmos city of Pune, his self-esteem had taken a hit. His confidence had dropped many notches and he was suddenly starting to feel he wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough for the people around him. He wasn't good enough to deserve such friends, and he was not able to gel. He was not able to blend in, and that made him withdraw into himself, start withholding himself. The fear of rejection, the fear of being ridiculed, the fear of being laughed at for his accent, the fear of being looked down on his sense of dressing, on his simple coats and his attitude had pushed him further and further into that trap of loneliness. I was worried. So I asked him, "Do you have a Facebook account?" He said, "Yeah." So I said, "How many friends do you have?" "Maybe about 500. "Very good. How much time do you spend on Facebook?" "Oh," he said, "on an average about 2 hours every day." "Okay. And what other social media are you on?" So he said, "I'm on Instagram. But you know what? I don't have too many followers. I can't click those fancy selfies and write those tacky taglines and post. I don't think I'm a very popular guy." And I said, "Oh, okay. And how many new friends have you made?" So he said, "Well, when I came here, my phone contacts were 300, of which 200 were my family. And now I have added about 600 more contacts, and they are all my peer group colleagues and my so-called friends." I said, "That's good. You've got more than double the number of contacts on your phone. So how much time do you spend talking to those people?" And he looked and he said, "No, I hardly talk." So I said, "What about birthdays? What about special occasions? What did you do when you got your first salary? Did you not call all these friends and celebrate?" And the more I asked him, the more I felt that he was growing lower and lower and lower in his confidence, in his energy. And believe me, it really hit me hard. And I felt somewhere I was responsible because I had brought him into this environment, and then probably I had not done a context setting or an induction, not only to the work but to the culture of a cosmocity, to the culture of the team, to the kind of people that he would be interacting with, and it was his first job. So I felt somewhere responsible, and I thought, now it's my duty to help him out of the situation. So, and that set me thinking. I came home and I read a lot about this loneliness. What are the common causes of this loneliness? Why do people get so lonely? I mean, look at this guy. He's all over Facebook, Instagram. He's got so many contacts, WhatsApp, everything. Yet he's lonely. So I came back and I talked to my son, who's almost 20, and I was talking to my daughter, who's a teenager too. And I told them, you know what? There is this boy in my office, and he is so socially active, yet he is suffering from loneliness. And both of them looked at me with that knowing look in their eyes and said, "Yes, Mom, you'll be surprised that we feel that too at times, that although we have so many virtual online friends, we miss those real friends." In my childhood, when we wanted to freak out, we would just go down and shout out into people's houses. The friends would come running down and we would chase each other down like wild, run like crazy, tease people, and that was the kind of fun we had. And when we came home after our evening's play, we were all sweating. We were all dead, tired, only wanted to eat and sleep. But today, when I go down and I see the children in my society, there'll be a group of boys and girls, and what are they doing? Just sitting with their mobiles. Somebody's playing Candy Crush, somebody's playing PUBG, somebody is, texting on social media. They're all living from likes and loves to the next post where how many likes they'll get again. I mean, is that real? Then I understood. And then I just was flipping through some news and I found this report that BBC Channel 4 about 2 years ago had done a survey of about 55,000 people, and they found that the highest number of people who reported loneliness was in the age group of 16 to 24. And then I understood, this is where the problem lies. So I now had an answer to go and talk to Anshu and see what I could do to help. When I went next day, I told everybody, okay guys, evening tea is on me. And we all gathered in the cafeteria. I bought some jalebis from the sweet shop near my house on my way there and told the office boy to serve them with the tea as well as some samosas. And everybody was super excited. Hey, what's it? What's it? Some good news, something. And then I told them, okay guys, you all know each other. You all know yourself. Now I want you to spend the next 10 minutes in talking to the person to your right. Everybody looked at me and said, what? Some of them even got, oh, there's going to be some training session. Took out their mobiles. I said, no. Before we start this game, all mobiles on the center table. Anybody found with a mobile, penalty with chai, round of chai for everyone. You will not believe what I saw. The first 3 minutes, people were so awkward talking to each other. They didn't know what to ask. They knew each other's names. They knew what role each one was playing, what the job they were doing. So what were they to ask? I had never seen a bunch of 30 people so awkward trying to talk face to face. But I persevered and I said, no, there is no letting go. There is no way out. You got to spend the next 10 minutes talking to the partner on your right. By, I think, about 7 minutes down the line, people had started to then finally warm up. Not talking about what they do and who's their friend on Facebook and the gossip, but talking about their dreams, talking about the fun moments in their life, talking about their aspirations, talking about something happy, their hobbies, their interest. And after that, I had to shout at least 3 times to say, time up, time up, time up, stop, I think we are done. And thereafter, I found that not just Anshu, but the entire team, something seemed to have changed for the better. People had started to look at each other in the eye more often. People in the team had started to talk at the lunch table more often. People had started to connect face to face more often. And you could actually sense the positive vibes, the energy pulsating in the team whenever you interacted with a few of them together. And I think that's what is needed in everybody's life. If we do not watch out these little signs, we may very soon end up in that trap of loneliness, which can even become a clinical disorder which needs to be treated. So my friends and all my viewers, a very sincere appeal, whenever you see an Anshu around you, it may be inside you as well. Watch out for those signs. It doesn't matter how many Facebook friends you have. It doesn't matter how many online relationships you have. What matters is how many people you can call when you really feel low. How many people can you call when you are so full of joy and want to share some good news? How many people will you go out and dance in the rain with? That's what is most important, and focus on building those real relationships rather than virtual ones. So with that, I come to the end of today's story on loneliness, Anshu, and how I helped him. And I hope that you enjoyed listening to this story and will keep an eye out for any Anshu around you and take action to help them pull themselves out of it. So till we meet again next Wednesday with yet another story, take care, keep watching, don't forget to like, to subscribe if not already done, and share this story with those around you. Take care, be safe, adios, bye bye. you.